Well, good morning and welcome back to hiking and biking in Derbyshire. I know it's been a long time, but it's with good reason, which I'll come to later. But today we're off round Carsington Reservoir. It's an 8-mile walk, should take about 3 hours. I think it's pretty much easy going for most people, providing you can manage 8 miles, but you don't have to do the whole thing. There's several places that you can visit along the way, like bird hides. In fact, there's one there now. There's a bird hide over there which you can visit. There's a wildlife centre just here. And there's all sorts of things you can do, whether it's for kids or just a nice afternoon walk. Right, let's crack on and see what we can see. I don't know if you can see it, I don't know if it'll show up on the GoPro, but you can just see that bird hide that I referred to earlier. It gives a spectacular view of the reservoir, so if you're a big birdie fan, this is the place to be. As I mentioned earlier, the route around the reservoir is about 8 miles if you do the whole thing. It should take about 3 hours on average walking pace, and as I said before, you don't have to do the whole thing. Go as far as you want to and then go back again. You can either walk it, bike it, bring the prams, you name it. I think it's fine for a family walk. It certainly is recommended. But in fact, I might bring the bike and do this same route again, but on the bike, because I can. Let's just have a quick look at the view, hasn't me? Wonderful morning this morning. We parked up in the main car park. It can be quite expensive, the car park. You arrive, park your car, and you pay on exit, so that's worth bearing in mind. You can actually park further down away from the main visitor centre. The name escapes me now, I'll put it on screen, of the previous car park that you pass on the way into Carsington Water Visitor Centre. It's a little bit cheaper, but if you're going to do the circular walk, it doesn't really matter where you park around the reservoir. The walk's the same, but just bear that in mind. It's a little bit more expensive here in the main car park, but there's another car park which I think we'll come to later on, so when I remember its name I'll let you know. Be quiet. I don't know if it shows up on the GoPro, but there's a squirrel there. You probably can't see the bird table either, but it's covered in birds. Amazing. Now we're just coming up on the bombing tower. Now this tower was built by the RAF in the 1940s and it was used for bombing practice in the Henmore Valley long before the reservoir was built. I think it was used to plot and practice the dropping of bombs, and you can still go up it today. Let's go and have a look. Quite a steep staircase. It should command a good view, which is presumably why it was built. Yep, quite a good view. Let's look out the window. You can see down the trail where we're heading down. Right, let's get back on the trail. Got an information panel here as well. Bombing tower, RAF quadrant tower, yeah, 1940s, 1950s, used for bombing practice. Right, let's crack on with the walk. Just left the bombing tower down there, this is the track. We just stopped to look at the view. You know, it occurred to me the other day, I watch quite a few YouTube channels, whether it be hiking, biking, wild camping, that sort of thing, but no one's ever mentioned something that occurred to me the other day, and it's fairly obvious, and I suspect it's because if you're like me and you're lucky to have good eyesight, apart from the old glasses, we put quite a lot of emphasis on what we can actually see. But every once in a while, and I know I've said before, whenever you're on a walk you should always turn around and look where you've been, that's important. But try doing this as well. Stop, take a look at the view, and just close your eyes for a bit. Take notice of what you can actually hear, because I think sometimes you miss quite a lot of the picture. I think that's why, if somebody was blind, I think that obviously they tend to, their hearing becomes somewhat acute and they pick up lots and lots of things, and I think those of us with good eyesight, or lucky to have good eyesight, we tend to miss on that. So yeah, it's just something that occurred to me. Whenever you're out and about, by all means take in the view, enjoy yourself, but just shut your eyes every once in a while and just listen. Wonderful, really. The car park that I mentioned earlier, which I couldn't remember the name of, it's this one. It's called Sheepwash Car Park. Now if you're coming up from Matlock Bath, you come up the hill from Matlock Bath and along the road into the main visitor centre, but you pass this one on the way. So sometimes if the main centre's busy, this is probably less busy and it's a little bit cheaper, so bear that in mind. Yeah, Sheepwash Car Park, and if you do park here, it's not a bad view. Yeah, just checking now, according to my Strava, we're at what, 3.45 miles, so I think 4 miles will be the halfway point, so we're pretty much on our way back now. Well, that's looking back the way that we've just come. That's the path that follows sort of alongside the road. In fact, you can just see a car going past now. But this is the furthest point of the reservoir. And we've just come round the end. And now we're sort of heading back down the other side of the reservoir. But this time on this side, it's more of a woodland walk. So it's pretty much got everything really going for it. Well, just leaving the woods now. The view's starting to open up to our right, which I'll show you in a minute. And you can just see, now I don't think it'll show up on the GoPro, but on the far side of the reservoir, that's the Mainsail restaurant, which is where the car's parked. And more importantly, that's where the restaurant is, which is our next stop after we finish the walk. It's just wonderful here. Here's a classic example of what I was saying earlier about every so often just stop and listen, because that way you get the whole picture. Just listen to the water. I think it's the wind across the lake or reservoir. And it's lapping on the shore. Wonderful. First gate of the day. Just wanted to give a shout out to Adam, a fellow YouTuber, aka the Just Get Out There guy, and you'll see why, Adam. Well, you've sat in it, so I am. I feel like I've made it now. Currently being buzzed by the Luftwaffe. This is new since the last time I was here. Let's go and have a look. Oh wow, that's brilliant. Smiling on camera. That's brilliant. Beautifully framed shot. Destination is inside the mainsail restaurant, but before that we're going to walk our way back across the dam wall. Called it a dam wall, but it's technically an aqueduct. That's pretty much a map of the route that we've taken all the way around. Well, we've just passed the 8.5 mile mark, so that brings us to the end of the walk around Carsington Reservoir. I've certainly enjoyed the walk, I hope you have too. And I'm just about to come up on the visitor centre just there, and something to eat. So until next time, consider liking and subscribing, but until then, I'll see you on the next one. Now you know why I walked 8 miles.